Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? So we're doing a little bit of, well, you know, the usual, Lord's Mobile. But, right, so we're kind of curious, and of course, you guys probably wondering, like, how did Guild Showdown go down? It was alright, we got to 10th. We didn't get much farther, we got to rank 6. I don't know. Of course, we went up against, I don't even know half of these guilds, to be honest with you. Like, you got Ariwell. So it's, again, this one wasn't so bad, like, in the end, some of these reports, you can see they just kind of drop like rocks here, it's like, one guy, 4 people, 5 people, is he going for another? 6? 7? 8? At 8 wins, you gotta admit, that's pretty good. I don't think I've seen that too often. But again, I would say there were numerous people in my guild where that just, I don't know. Like, we were having a game of who could out-compete who, but, some people came pretty close. But, it was pretty exciting, but, again, Guild Showdown is Guild Showdown, again, one of the strategies, right, in case you're wondering, well, I'll go back just to show you, okay, remember, okay, we'll go back and I'll actually show you. Let's actually look at what was the compositions that these guys were using, that gave them so many victories. What are they doing? Alright, look at his composition. Alright, now again, I'm going to start this back one last time. Again, I know it's probably a little annoying for some of you, but it basically, his initial composition before this even started is he had, basically, he put 190,000 into guards and 110,000 into cavalry and 15,000 into snipers. Now, the reason why this composition works as well as it does is it's a very strong imp cav setup. So putting a ton of stats into those two, it works really, really well. Of course, he has a little bit of snipers in there just so that he gets a little bit of buff in there. But essentially, most of what he's using is buffing infantry and cavalry for the most part in terms of leaders, and that's what makes this team work so well. And ultimately, anybody to everybody can do this. But and again, remember these were just tier 3s though. All right, so we're not even working with tier 4s just yet. But if you get down to like where you get into the the 200 mil bracket, you'll notice that something shifts. But again, I point these things out because ultimately, if you're trying to do well, and you're wanting to do incredibly well inside, say, the Guild Showdown, I would recommend you pick 2 unit types, because that seems to be what works best in a lot of cases. And in this case, Imp and Cav was his, where he shined, but that's not the only place. You could use Imp range, Cav range, vice versa, but you need to make sure that you increase those 2 unit stats. Just so that you can see a better result. Now you can see a lot of these guys here only put in 1 troop, so in some cases, 10 wins wasn't out of the question. A little weird. 11 wins there. But, to be honest with you, that I don't really count that so much as a win, because he really didn't fight an army, really. But, well, welcome. You want to come say hello to the stream? Alright, come here. Alright, so here's Lou. But yeah, anyways, for the most part, right, well, even with, with these particular, like, with this event, you can see it from 18 to 38, it's a pretty clear victory. Like, there's not really, I'll be lucky if they get up into the top 50, of what we have in that showdown. They'll be lucky if they get anywhere close. And again, there's so many players that we have that are in tier 4 that now it's just really, no matter how hard they try, it's just not going to get them anywhere. Maybe they could try, but anyway, so that's kind of how the first round went. But this one was pretty close. This was substantially closer. Noticeably, right from the start, Ares comes out on top. Second it goes off, the Ares loses. And again, your starting point always determines usually your end game of the, of actually fighting the rest of the battles from there on out. And you'll notice that, right from the get-go, their minimum might was a lot lower than ours. And then it jumped. And ultimately, when it comes to this, usually the guy who has the most tier 4s is going to out-compete most of the people that are entering in for the guild showdown. I want to say, if your guild's mostly a tier 4, you're probably going to be in Division 10 without really too much work. As long as you're doing well on your stats and gear, getting those extra buffs, like the altar boost, as well as getting, like, your troop boosts, like, as long as you're looking for places where you can increase the amount of unit stats that you can increase, into whatever 2 unit types you're going for, then all the merrier. And in their case, these guys pretty much had the benefit of the doubt, which was that they got an edge on us right from the get-go. And I think had we had a little bit of retaining, like just a 1 or 2 slots ahead, we probably would have been okay. But we really couldn't keep it there. You can see we start to get ahead, starts to catch up with us a little bit, but eventually it just gets us tied back down. And again, it's kind of like what Guild Showdown's usually supposed to be like. It's a team effort. It's not, you can't have one guy defeat all, unfortunately. But I would say that it definitely seems to help for the players that are using 2 unit types. It seems to do the most help. And here I come up, which, and again, mind you, when I send this troop composition, I don't even think I get it the first time around. And part of the reason being is that at this point, if you're not sending full tier 4 marches, you're probably not going to win. So you can see in this march here, I have 375k, he has 352k, but the main difference between us is the fact that he's sending all tier 4. And in the fact that I don't have the proper counter. So he put in almost 200,000 fighters and almost 175k or so cannoneers. But this is kind of the ideal setup that someone ought to be using, because by putting so much into 2 unit stats, you basically have turned into an absolute counter to most marches that come at you. And so ultimately I lose pretty much, not even on the premise of, both troop type, but also just everything else. It would help a lot my benefit. But you'll see that this guy keeps going. For almost 4 wins in a row. I mean, it carried him almost all the way through, which basically put his team ahead quite a ways. Now, of course, Damn Too Good, who is one of our Billy Mike players, the benefit in his composition is you'll notice that he still uses the same kind of composition, but he puts it into 1 unit type. So he's got more like, he's got almost 200k into Drakes, he's got about 100k or so in Cannoneers, and then 68k in Heroic Fighters. Now, that works great because he's not totally counterable. It gives him some room to make mistakes. And that may be a better comp, in some ways, for Showdown. But you'll notice that he comes out flat on the last hit. And so we end up losing the battle. But, for what it's worth, I would say that Guild Showdown wasn't so bad. And of course, I've got more to show you, so stay tuned. And of course, we have this one. And I don't know, this guy's like the running joke of the week. We made him lose another 50,000 or so. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.